Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. So today you can see I'm in a new location. I am by one of my shelves and it's like in between my kitchen and my living room. Listen, I live in a small downtown apartment. We do not have room for big shelves in here. So this is what I got and I'm gonna be telling you about all of these books that are sitting right here. They are all of my Agatha Christie's. Most of them are Hercule Poirot mysteries, and I thought it would be perfect for the cozy winter time to just tell you guys all about my favorite Agatha Christie's. I see a lot of people, especially on BookTube, wanting to get into Agatha Christie, and they just don't know where to start, don't know which ones are good, don't know which ones are boring. So I'm here to tell you all of the tea on the Agatha Christie books that I like and I have read. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into the video. So the first ones I'm gonna start with are both Hercule Poirot mysteries, and they're both themed based on a holiday. So the first one is Hercule Poirot's Christmas. This is a really atmospheric, fun mystery for December. I actually read this on Christmas last year and it was so fun. It was a little bit predictable, but honestly, I think a lot of older mysteries are predictable, and I just read Agatha Christie's for the fun vibe that they provide. I also really like Hercule Poirot as a character. I like meeting all of the quirky old-timey characters, and that is exactly what this book provides. So if you're looking for something to read on Christmas, I highly recommend this. Also, it's super short. This is a beautiful little edition that I found at Half Price Books, and this is the only one that doesn't fit in with all of my other copies, which leads me into my other recommendation for reading on a holiday. I just read this one in October. It is Halloween Party by Agatha Christie, obviously. And this is like the style of all the Agatha Christie's that I have for all the rest of my books. It is this super slim, like soft matte paperback, and I just really like them. They're super easy to just like stick in your purse. They're all super short, under 300 pages, if they're even like 250. They like hover around the 250 page range. So they're super cute, short mysteries. And obviously this one takes place on Halloween. The murder happens at a Halloween party and a little girl gets murdered, and Hercule Poirot is called in to assist and solve the mystery. This one was a little bit slow for me, but because of the like pumpkin Halloween party vibes, I still liked it and I gave it 3 stars. On any other day, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much, but because I read it on Halloween, I liked it. So if you're looking for something for Halloween readathons or just fall time next year, this would be a good one to dip your toe into if you're wanting to get into Agatha Christie. By the way, I just realized that I'm mentioning like Hercule Poirot a lot, and some of you guys might not know who that is. He is this iconic little French man with a huge mustache who is like literally the best detective in the world. Like the way that he connects things and figured things out, I'm like,
his mind.
No one else all across the great continent of Europe could literally ever. He's a king. I love him. I think he's like the perfect little caricature for a detective. And so yeah, most of the Agatha Christie's that I read are Hercule Poirot's, and I'm going to be telling you right now my top favorite Hercule Poirot mysteries. So these are my top 4. The first one is probably one you have heard of before. It is Murder on the Orient Express. I know my boyfriend like had to read this for school, which I'm like, what kind of school did you go to? Because if this was required reading, I think I would have actually enjoyed the required reading for school. But this is probably the craziest twist ever in any mystery that I've ever read. And this is like such an OG. It was published in 1934. So the fact that this innovation and these insane twists were being thought up in the 30s literally blows my mind. And yeah, I highly recommend reading this one if you're going to read any Agatha Christie. Also, these Poirot books, they do go like in a specific order, but I've read them completely out of order, so that doesn't matter at all. I would say just throw that out the window and don't pay attention to it. Sometimes things are referenced like in past books, but it's never really ruined my reading experience, so I don't think you really have to pay attention to that. This book basically follows people that are all riding on a train on the Orient Express, and someone dies and they're trying to investigate and figure out who did it. So Hercule Poirot does this thing where he like takes all the witnesses aside one at a time and tries to pick out their stories and find out who did it. Everyone seemingly has an alibi, so this one, I mean, it's crazy. This ending blew my mind. The next one I'm gonna recommend might be my favorite Agatha Christie ever. This is the ABC Murders. It's another Poirot mystery, and there's basically a murder on the loose that is murdering people that have the initials like AA, that live in a city that starts with an A, and then someone who has the initials BB that lives in a city that starts with a B, and so on and so on and so on. And I think that concept is just so interesting for a murderer. I love when serial killers have like a thing. Okay, I don't love serial killers, but like in a mystery thriller, when there's a serial killer, I like when they're just not randomly killing. I like when there's like a weird, quirky thing about them. So this is right up my alley. It was pretty surprising to me, the twist ending, and yeah, highly recommend this one. So next I'm gonna recommend The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. Obviously, Roger Ackroyd gets murdered. He is like this very high society person, but he was married to a woman who he suspected had been killing her husbands before him. And so obviously now he's the next husband in line. And now you're thinking, okay, the murder of Roger Ackroyd, his wife was a notorious husband murderer. It's definitely her. Well, she killed herself. So it can't be her. And we're just wondering, did her ghost come back from the dead to murder this man? What happened to this man? Why was he murdered? And Poirot's gonna figure it out. That's basically the formula of every single one of Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot books. He comes in and he solves the mystery, and it's always crazy. So if you're interested, this is a really good one. I feel like I've seen a lot of reviews and recommendation videos that say that this is the best Agatha Christie book. So highly recommend. And the last Poirot that I'm gonna recommend for you guys is Cards on the Table. This is kind of like the movie slash game Clue, and that is one of my favorite movies of all time. If you haven't seen the 80s movie Clue, I highly recommend you go watch it, especially for these like cozy winter nights. It is such a classic mystery, and this one really reminds me of that. Like there's a very flamboyant, over-the-top party host, and he invites all of these people, including Mr. Poirot, over to his house for a dinner party, and people start dying, and you're wondering what's happening. You're trying to figure it out, and there's the whole time there's like this metaphor for cards on the table and like poker that is running throughout the whole book, as they're also like playing poker at the party. So it's just really interesting. It's really fun, and this is another one that I really like. This is one of my favorite Poirots that I've ever read. The last two Agatha Christie recommendations that I have for you guys are not Hercule Poirot mysteries, so he does not solve the case. They could be solved by, you know, just police, just be a murder mystery that's going on in town, you know, something like that. And I think these two would be good for beginners that are getting into Agatha Christie for the first time. My favorite, possibly, I have a lot of favorites, Agatha Christie book ever is Crooked House. If you like crazy family drama, boy, is this one for you. Basically, this is a Knives Out situation where this old rich man passes away and his whole family has a motive to have killed him. So we're trying to find out who did it and why, and it's crazy. Like, all these people have so many issues. Every chapter, I feel like something is uncovered, like someone was sleeping with someone, or someone was getting blackmailed for this, or someone had a secret conversation where they were threatening the old man. Like, just things happen in every chapter. This is one of the most action-packed, old-timey mysteries that I've ever read, and I really enjoyed it. It really is like the OG Knives Out kind of story. And then lastly, I'm going to recommend And Then They Were None. I feel like this is a lot of people's first foray into Agatha Christie, and I think that's really good because this one is really interesting. It's about all these people who are invited to an island and they start dying. One by one, they just start getting picked off until there are none left. And like, there's like little statues or something. I don't remember what they're statues of, but in this house that they're staying at on this crazy, beautiful private island, there's like 10 statues. And every time someone dies, a statue gets smashed. So like, they'll be all just chilling on the island, and then they'll see like Mrs. Whoever drowned on the beach and her dead body is just laying there, and then they'll go in the house to try to like find a phone to call the police, and they'll realize that another statue was just mysteriously smashed. So obviously they know that someone on the island is doing this because it's a very remote private island, and they know it has to be one of them, and you don't know who it is, and they all seemingly are targeted. It's wild the way that it's like counting down like 10, 9, 8, 7, and there's like a smaller and smaller clump of people on the island. If you like stories like One by One by Ruth Ware, The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley, Stranger in Your House by Sherry Lapina, I think if you want to try Agatha Christie, this would be a great place to start for you because it's that very familiar structured plot where you almost know what's gonna happen. You're just waiting to see who's gonna get murdered and how, and who obviously done it. So I think this is a really good one to start with, and obviously I'm like referencing all these other books that are similar to this. This is obviously the OG. So I think it's just really good to kind of pay respect and appreciate Agatha Christie and everything that she has done for the mystery thriller genre. And I really hope you guys got some good recommendations out of this video. I really appreciate you guys watching, and go ahead and like this video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for future videos so you don't miss out on any of them, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.